สวัสดีค่ะ and welcome back to Ed Brain Site here on GBN Station. You're now with me, Kankanam Wishitpan, reporting to you all the latest news on Buddhism from around the world. Today we have news update from India, England, Thailand, the prayer for peace, response to the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine, and lastly, the temple tour in France. In a significant development, the Lanka University has decided to introduce certification courses in Bodhi and Buddhist studies. A meeting was conducted under the chairmanship of the chairman, Lanka Autonomous Hill Development Council, late Taishi Gausand, to discuss the introduction of certification courses in Bodhi language and Buddhist studies at the University of Lanka.EC Art and Culture Stanton Chospel appraised the chairman regarding the inclusion of certificate courses in art, culture, languages, and Buddhist studies in the University of Lanka. He was later informed by the officers that a committee of experts will soon be formed regarding the formation of the actual syllabus for the said certification courses.CEC Taishi Gaosen appreciate the participation of all the experts during the meeting and assure that these kinds of initiatives will help in preserving the Bodhi language and other vital knowledge systems in the region. They further discussed the importance of the 10 branches of knowledge, classified into 5 major and 5 minor knowledge systems with the officials during the meeting.Those behind a Thai Buddhist temple and monastery have applied to use former Glove Cup land as its grounds. The Wat Sirathanaram Temple, Moss Lane, Kearsley, was created in 2016 at the former clubhouse of Manor Golf Club. The clubhouse had earlier become an Indian restaurant before being acquired for use as a temple.However, the change of use at that time didn't extend over the open land of the golf course. An application published by Baldwin Council requests that the temple gains permission to use the wider grounds for recreation, meditation, and the planting of gardens.Those running the temple also request using part of the site for agricultural gazing. In 2016, permission was granted to use the Glove Cup as a Buddhist temple, with 4 monks residing at the property on a full-time basis. The application states that the development use is consistent with the land being in the green belt.Two companies in Thailand have teamed up to create plastic amulets using recycled materials. The joint venture between Dot Design Studio and Quality Design was announced at Bangkok Design Week 2022 exhibition. The goal of the initiative is to use the religious motivations of the Thai people to help curb the quantity of plastics flowing in the oceans.According to a report by the US-based Ocean Conservancy Group, Thailand is the world's 5th largest contributor of plastic waste in the oceans. The idea of the plastic amulets is a result of finding a connection between the environment and Thai culture, said Gitpup Tem, a director of Dot's Design Studio.Amulet with Buddhist images, either of the Buddha or of revered monks, have long been popular among lay Buddhists in Thailand, who often believe they carry powers that can help the owner lead a more fortunate or prosperous life. Amulets are usually made from stone or wood, and may contain holy objects such as blessed ash or the hair of an extreme monk.The new amulets are embossed with a seated Buddha on one side and the Thai word for awareness on the back to remind the wearer of both the benefits of awareness in life and the importance of these items as signifiers of ecological progress. The founder of Quality Design suggests that the design could help people to become more conscious of their impact on the environment in their daily lives.The rapid incursion into Ukraine by Russia's military forces has shocked the world. At the time of writing, On day 2 of Russian President Putin's invasion, global media were reporting massive explosions rocking the capital Kyiv, while terrified residents attempt to flee or huddle for safety in shelters and subway stations. According to reports, Russia's military movements toward Kyiv have already resulted in death and injury for hundreds of defending Ukrainians. Meanwhile, in cities across Russia, thousands of people have taken to the streets in protest against Putin's decisions to wage war, and many hundreds of demonstrators have been arrested. Consequently, there were responses from spiritual figures and communities around the world calling for sanity and expressing their expressions of sorrow at the inevitable suffering, including the American Zen teacher and civil rights activist John Halifax, Pope Francis, the Vatican Secretary of State Cardinal Pietro Parolin, His Holiness the Karmapa Ogun Chinli Dorji, Vajrayana teacher, author, founder of the Dongyu Gasoling Nunnery in Himachal Pradesh, India, Jasuma Tenzin Palmo, the renowned spiritual leader and socially engaged Buddhist monk, Venerable Bhikkhu Sangha Sena, founder of the Mahabodhi International Meditation Center, and Nichiren Shu, a Japanese Buddhist author and one of the largest schools of Nichiren Buddhism. The Temple of 1000 Buddhas is located in the southern Morvan, near the village of Labile. Dragons and banners are now part of the Burgundian landscape. This Vajrayana Buddhist center was established in 1974 in the castle of Place by the very venerable Lama Kalu Rinpoche, a Tibetan Lama and founder of several monasteries. The Buddhist center was officially recognized as a religious congregation in 1995. Today, about 30 monks live on the site. The congregation Dekhan Kaluling is the most important center in Europe. Opened in August 1987, the temple was modeled after Samye, the first Tibetan Buddhist monastery. Bright colors, sculptures, and huge golden statues can be found around the temple, which measures 26 meters long, 22 meters wide, and 20 meters tall, and consists of 3 levels to represent the body, speech, and mind of Buddha. It was financed by donations and decorated by volunteers, including a number of artists from Bhutan. Inside the temple is the main prayer hall with 3 monumental statues, 6 to 7 meters tall. In the center is a statue of the historical Buddha sitting in the lotus position. The left statue represents the Guru Rinpoche, who introduced Buddhism to Tibet in the 8th century. On the right is the statue of the Green Chara, a symbol of compassion. The temple mount is surrounded by 36 small stupas. The ceiling is decorated with 6 large mandalas and many murals depicting the life of the Buddha and the various lines that have succeeded him. The great stupa at the entry portal is surmounted by a wheel of life and with a welcome inscription. Near the temple stands a fountain with 2 small glass buildings, one for light offerings and the other containing a prayer meal. Around the park, there are prayer mats and 35 small stupas, as well as another small building that holds a statue of Buddha. Our special videos today are from Mind Stories YouTube channel. Today, the teaching monk will be teaching you how to improve your communication skills. Let's get started.
Human is social being. Communication is one of the most important parts of our life. It allows us to be able to understand each other, convey the message, and learn about each other and how to live together in peace. But one thing to understand is that our words require a lot of mindfulness in order to speak properly, in order to communicate effectively. We got 2 eyes with one purpose, which is to see. We got 2 ears with one purpose, which is to hear. But we got only one mouth with two purposes, which is to eat and to speak. And both of them require a lot of mindfulness so that we can eat properly and speak properly. Words is one of the main cause of conflicts. People come into a disagreement mainly because what they say, if they are not mindful, then they can easily offend each other and lead into a lot of troubles later on. So in order to speak, there are five main factors that we have to take into consideration. If we follow this, it helps us to speak better, become more mindful in our communication. Number one, it has to be the truth. Speaking the truth is one of the best way. Sometimes people may claim that it's better to tell white lies, but it's not entirely the truth. The truth is better because no matter when, where, and how it is found out, it's always the same fact, the same truth, the same reality. It shows sincerity. So that's why whenever we say something, go back to the truth. It's better to speak the truth than people found out that it is a lie later on. Number two, choose right words. And in this sense, it's not only choosing the right words, but it also includes choosing the right tone of voices. Because in order to fully communicate in terms of speaking, there are actually three main factors. Number one, words. Number two, body movement and gesture. Number three, tone of voices. But actually, words is accounted for only 7% of the whole communication, while tone of voices is accounted for 38% and body movement or body language is accounted for 58%. You will see that actually what we include in our communication is even more important than the word itself. So be careful not to choose just the right word, but the right tones, making eye contact with people, showing because the eyes are the window of your soul. So actually this is one of the aspects that is very important in the communication. Number three, that communication must have a purpose, must have some benefits to the listener. If you are going to say something, tell people something, it has to bring certain kind of purpose. It has to be meaningful. It has to bring some benefits. Otherwise, if it's just words that making people can easily offend others. That is how to be mindful. Number four, if you're gonna communicate with people or speak something mindfully, it begins with kindness. The intention to say something is but be kind, not aiming of harming each other or harming one another. It has to be the message that's full of kindness, love, and peace. That is actually the intention that we should have in our mind when we make a communication. And the last part, number five, choosing the right time and place. Even though we speak of the truth, full of purpose, choosing the right word, and be kind in speaking already, but if the listener is not ready to hear, it's useless. Because imagine if you want to give somebody a warning or suggestions or advice, but they are in the situation that in front of the friends or in front of others, they might feel too embarrassed to hear that truth, even full of kindness or that good advice. So choosing the right time and place is the last and most important key factor that helps us to communicate mindfully. There are a lot of people who always worry about making public speaking or even speaking in general. So there are some tips that can help us to make speaking more effective. But to be a good speaker, remember that you must be a good listener first. Being a good listener allows you to have more information and knowledge, and that can be some raw data for yourself that you can input later on in your... The tips of effective speaking start with number one, realize and understand the topics and issues of things that you want to talk about. Imagine if you have a conversation with your friends and somebody just come in and talking about something completely different out of the blue that has no relevance with any of the things that you are talking about. People will get confused. The same thing when you are making public speaking somewhere, it has certain kind of topics or theme about the conference, and then you speak something completely different out of the theme, then the audience will be misunderstand about what you want to talking about. Number two, knowing the details of the contents. Whatever the knowledge, whatever the information and details of the topics that you want to talk about, knowing every angles, different analysis, different arguments on the same topics can help you to convey the message more properly and also very informative, and that also makes the speaking become very interesting. Number three, keep things in sequential order. In order to learn something, it's better to start from easy to difficult, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you lay things down into this sequential order, it helps people to slowly learn and contemplate and understand. Finally, they crystallize the whole idea and really understand what you meant to say. And that is one of the key that make important. If you start skipping around, jumping around from back and forth, it may make it very hard to understand, make it very hard to capture the idea of the things that you want to convey. Number 4, keep your message very precise and concise. Do you remember when you were in school and some of the teachers that kept saying things very long without any relevance, without any purpose, and you felt that you're wasting your time listening to that speech? It's actually exactly the point. When we speak and we keep things very precise and concise, straight to the point and keep it limited, we are able to make more impact to the listeners because they can really understand and slowly capture the idea of things that you want to talk about. So less juice and more meat. Number 5, give example. Story tells better than words. Can you think back when you were in school? Some of the lessons that you still remember up until today, I think that you have sentimental feeling about it because human brain memorize things based on feelings. It helps us to understand and remember better. So when you include examples and story in whatever you want to tell, it helps people to really understand the concept of things that you want to talk about, and it makes the speaking very effective. So public speaking is something that a lot of people are always worried, even up to afraid. But if you prepare yourself based on these 5 tips, you can actually make much better speaking publicly.
Thank you, Mind Story YouTube channel, for these amazing videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe their YouTube channel. And now it's time for the Lord Buddha's Dharma Code. If monks, there were no gratification in the world, beings would not become enamored with the world. But because there is gratification in the world, beings become enamored with it. Now it's time for us to say goodbye, but please make sure to check out all episodes of our At Burnside News program on our website, gbnus.com. Thank you for joining us and have a wonderful week. สวัสดีค่ะ